Hey again, insight number 2 here. So we're going to continue in section 37. This for this week is 37 to 40, and this is the second one. So we're going to continue in section 37, which is only 4 verses long, but it's okay. This is a short instruction, it's all it needs to be, and we're going to find more in 38 as to what's happening. So, verse 4 says, "Behold, here is wisdom, and let every man choose for himself, even himself, until I come, even so, amen." So I always like that, and I've got that marked in. Let's see my scriptures here. It's got a little arrow going up to it, because we get to choose for ourselves. Even in something like this, where the Lord's already told us it's for your protection and the enemy's coming against you, I need you to go to Ohio, I need you to move so you're safe, it is still our choice. And that is pivotal in this world. It is our choice. Even if it's wisdom in the Lord, He's giving you His wisdom and telling you, this is the best thing for you. It's still your choice. And the interesting thing too is He provides ample opportunity to take up those things. So there's not ever just like one opportunity to do the thing He will ask you. He will provide more. We often just don't see them though, so think on that too. So yeah, what are some places we gather now? That was the other thing I was thinking of too, and I already mentioned, like, there's church, there's prayers, there's family home evening, there's family dinner, there's state conference. We don't gather for general conference, but we gathered in our home for general conference. So there's some places we gather now. I would even call gathering, as I said, at night for prayers with my cat. I still call that gathering, even if it was just me. I'm gathering my thoughts. I'm gathering me in from the day, all the bits that I've put out there to do whatever I've got to do, all the service I've done, or the people I've seen, the conversations I've had. They're all sort of out there, like you sort of imagine like lots of balls, sort of over your head. So gather them all in, gather you in, and meditate on it in prayer with the Lord. And it just helps. The whole day just comes together, and it's much better. So there's lots of places we can gather. But 37:4, apart from the fact that the choice is yours, we're going to talk about gathering. So gathering is a blessing for us, but agency is confirmed. We can gather to places of refuge and wisdom and thus be found worthy of the promised blessings that come as a result, or we can go it alone and find our own way in the maze of highways and byways meandering along in life. We give up the promised blessings of gathering. Now, it doesn't mean to say, as I said, there's not like one right choice, and if you miss it, that's the end of it. No. This is talking about a constant commitment to choosing the Lord, focusing on the Lord, and what He would have us do. And the more that we do that, the more that we gather those things in and do that, the blessings are there. The more we don't do that, the more we ignore that and just like, no, I'm good, I'm off by myself, and you get really lost. I don't know if any of you have been out there like that, but I have been, and it's a dark, nasty place. You're lost in the world. It's not pretty. So I do not recommend that. I do recommend sticking with the Lord, listening to His counsel, and being in the company of good, strong people. It is a much nicer place to be. Strong spiritual, by the way, not physical, sure, but spiritual is what I'm getting at there. Now this is interesting. In my research on this one, it does mention this, and I quite agree with this, so I will say this, that the decision to gather is a covenant decision. The Lord has offered you a promise, as He did here in section 37. He offers you a promise, and you can take that promise. That is a covenant decision. That is a covenant thing. To gather is making a covenant with the Lord. When He asks you to gather, and you do so, you take up that invitation, that is a covenant thing. It's a covenant decision. And that's kind of beautiful. I really like that. But the consequences of our choice are of eternal implication. So the choice not to gather is going to affect us eternally. It's going to affect us right now. Maybe not as much as you'd notice, but down the road, it's going to affect you a lot more. So think about that. When you're gathering as much as you can, and I know that this year has been hard to gather, and that's why I'm talking too about just gathering yourself in from the day. Right? President Hinckley. Now, some people think this is controversial. I just like it and don't take it. People think it's controversial because they're like, oh, I didn't have a choice. But you always have a choice. You might not like the choice, but you have the choice. There's not always things that happen straight away to make it happy, happy, joy, joy. But there are choices you can make that will improve your situation, whatever it might be. Even if it's just the choice to, be happier about it yourself. Somehow, we can get into that another time. But the choice is still yours and it remains yours. And I have fought this before and I have said, oh, I didn't have any other choice. It was miserable or miserable. That was my two choices. And it really wasn't. So anyway, he said, don't make the kinds of mistakes that will bring regret. That's the key. Is do you regret it? If you don't regret it, it's all right. But yeah, don't make mistakes that will bring regret. You can be wise and happy or stupid and miserable. The choice is yours. And because he put it so bluntly, I think people get a bit upset about it. It's not covered in candy and making it smell sweet like flowers. So he's really putting it out there and just like, you can be wise and happy or stupid and miserable. And, when that comes from a prophet, people can be like, oh, but actually it's true, right? So yeah, thank you, President Hinckley, for that one years ago. It is an older quote, but it does really work. And the choice is ours, as much as we might want it to not be, or don't like the consequences, or don't like the potential outcomes, or don't like the choice. Sometimes we get stuck. We don't want to make the choice. We just want someone to tell us what to do. And that's just not how things work anymore. It is our choice. We can't live life waiting for people to tell us what to do. We got to do life. Do life the best we can. That's all he asks, right? Okay. So that was number 2. Move on to number 3. Number 3 is over in section 38. So I'll see you in a bit for that one.